Greetings and welcome to Mount Olympus. I am Hercules Invictus, and today on Mythic Gaming, I meet with my companions in adventure, Zack, McAtee, and Espy. Greetings, gentlemen. How are you?
Doing well yourself.
I'm doing great, as great as can be, and I'm really looking forward to speaking with you guys. So,
Good evening. Hello, hello.
I'm sorry,
I said good evening. How's it going?
going pretty well. How about with you?
All right, I'm doing pretty well.
I have a whole shopping bag of things to show you the next time I'm by the store.
Oh, okay, cool. Great. Yeah.
So since we're in the store, what is new and exciting in the world of gaming?
Yeah, so I figured I'd catch you up with what's going on. It's been pretty crazy. You stopped by what last month or so.
Yes.
Um but yeah, it's been a crazy few months with a bunch of Magic releases and a bunch of Pokemon releases and just a bunch of different stuff going on at the store. Something related to the store, but um, not gaming related at all. But we finally got our new air conditioning unit put in.
All right.
So that was going on Monday and Tuesday, um, and luckily both of those days, were not too bad temperature wise. Um, uh, So it wasn't too bad not having the air conditioning and stuff going. We had some fans and everything, um but yeah, so that was a long time coming. So that's good that that's done.
I'm glad that you have that, and you'll probably have as many fans as your Magic card sorter machine.
Right, yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. um but yeah, so anyway, the new Magic set, I figure we could talk about this, especially because it's related with pop culture stuff. Magic has been doing a bunch of the uh, other IP related Magic sets that have been coming out. They did Avatar, they did Final Fantasy and Doctor Who. We've talked about that in the past. But a few sets ago they did a Marvel Spider-Man set. So it was focused specifically on Spider-Man and a few of the villains in Spider-Man, Doc Ock and Venom and everybody. Go ahead. Sorry.
I didn't say anything.
Oh, okay. So the most recent set that just came out, yeah, it's probably been 3 weeks now, was Marvel Superheroes. So it was not the whole gamut, but a big gamut of the Marvel superheroes. So we had, an Ant-Man, we had a Hulk, we had, an Iron Man, and a bunch of stuff related to it. But Yeah, so we were actually really surprised with the turnout and the reception to it. Um, I think what we talked about when Spider-Man came out, the reception was, it wasn't a hit. It was fine, but it wasn't the most popular one that we've had, in quite a while. Um, so we weren't hoping that, or we were hoping that this Marvel superheroes would be, a little bit better, I guess. Just unfortunately, what we have to say. But yeah, so it turned out that the set was, way more planned out. It was way bigger, and they really felt like they really had time to test, and the art on it and everything was much better than in Spider-Man. So the reception was, excuse me, really positive, which was nice. So that's been very popular.
And now you have the Spider-Man movie coming out, and you have the Doomsday from Marvel coming out. So I'm sure that will bring in some new people as well.
Right. That's exactly why I wanted to bring it up, because I actually just I'm not super plugged into all of the Marvel stuff. The movies that I've seen, I like it and everything, but I if it was trivia night, I probably wouldn't do too too well. But I watched the Doomsday trailer yesterday or today. Has either of you seen it yet?
Yeah, I
Yes,
just watched it
real.
earlier.
Okay. So yeah, it seemed pretty cool. Zach knows I like Gambit a lot from growing up. So this was it was a nice surprise to see him.
I
Uh,
bet you enjoyed Wolverine and Deadpool.
right. Yeah. Yep. So that I had no idea he was in that when I first saw that. So when he came out, I got a genuine reaction out of me in the movies, which was fun.
Well, that is great. If they come out with a Marvel Hercules card, put one aside for me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm actually really surprised that they have to now, especially with the with the I mean it was Conan, but that vibe coming out and being more popular again. I would be very shocked if Magic doesn't come out with something.
Yeah, I recently picked up two things with Hercules. There's a Marvel Champions deck,
Hmm.
and they have a Hercules deck, and also a new figure by Whiz Kids for their Hero Clicks.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Nice.
As I'm finding new homes for a lot of my collectibles, I'm still collecting the key collectibles.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah, you always gotta have something.
Yeah, they shall be left behind when I'm no longer here and then wind up somewhere. Probably
I guess I've been the curator of the books and stuff. I got them downstairs.
awesome. Yeah, I remember
um,
how it started. It was, did I share the story with you?
no, go on.
I was in high school when Dungeons and Dragons started and chainmail before Dungeons and Dragons. So some kids, they knew I was into heroic fantasy and mythology, so they invited me to play the game. I said, well, what's it like? And they said, well, it's an imagination game, but you use statistics and you need to figure out, you need to do math. So that didn't strike me as very interesting or something or even off. I turned it down, and it's only when I rediscovered it on my own that I became interested in it, and then I got hooked as soon as I played. That was my introduction to the dawn of the hobby.
It's interesting. Yeah, I was always, passively interested in what when I was in high school and everything, but nobody really played that kind of stuff. At least in my friend group, there might have been, someone the high school was reasonably large. I'm sure there might have been somebody playing something, but um, yeah, I think my first like real game, I think was with you, Zach, officially. I think.
Yeah, I think it was we played Dread that one time in Jeremy's backyard.
Right, right, around the campfire. Yeah,
Yeah.
I did set up a character for Pathfinder, at the store. Actually, we were gonna have a game going. It was me and a friend, and this was, wow, this is probably 2016, maybe. Um, but we got as far as setting up the characters, and then that was it. And then the DM moved away, actually. Um, but yeah, so then like the next year or whatever, Zach, that's when Dread was.
And Zach, how did you start in it with the hobby?
So my cousin Harry always would play the RPGs and stuff because my and uncle were always big into the hobby when it started. There was one time he ran a game called All Flesh Must Be Eaten, which was like a zombie game, and we did this thing where it's like, oh, we're just gonna make ourselves, and like it's set in our hometown, and so like I think it was like four of us, maybe four or five of us, and we played through that together, and then after having enjoyed that, he was like, oh, like if you want, like I could run a D&D game, and the rest is history.
And you're very creative in your gaming. You will find obscure games and breathe life into them, or you'll take very well-known games and expand their reality. So you are actually one of the few people that am aware of that I can call a dungeon master.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Right? Yeah, that I got super lucky. Is what I'll say.
And Tim, in addition to the card games that are coming out, are there any video games coming out that are of interest?
Yes. So actually, did want to talk about something that has come out. So Zach, have you played Mina the Hallower yet?
Yeah, I beat it.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I figured you would have, but okay. So Hercules, there's a company called Yacht Club Games. They're famous for the game Shovel Knight. I'm pretty sure we've talked about it in the past.
Mhm.
Um, it was a Kickstarter game. Oh God, I don't even know what 2014 maybe or something.
Something like that, yeah.
Um, and raised a bunch of money and got funded, pretty quickly. It's in the style of like an 8-bit side scroller. If you've ever played DuckTales for the NES, Hercules.
Oh, years ago.
Yeah, so the main attack in that is like a downward thrust with the cane. The Shovel Knight is kind of based around that move. um, so Shovel Knight, he's got a shovel, and his downward attack is his attack, and then he can dig up gems and power ups and stuff. Um, so the game did really well, and there was a couple expansions, and it was on the 3DS and the Switch, and it was on everything. So they finally came out with their new game, just I don't even know, last month, called Mina the Hallower. Um, I didn't even know that it came out because it got delayed, and I kind of fell off my radar. And I was at the store, and a gentleman came in, and we usually talk about like Zelda and this kind of stuff. But he told me, he was like, "Oh, have you played Mina yet?" And I was like, "No, I don't know what you're talking about." So I looked it up, and I was like, "Oh my God, it's the new Yacht Club game." And I'm like, "Oh my God, this totally fell off my radar." And he was like, "Yeah, it's really, really good. I've been playing it for hours." So the next day that I was off, I ended up downloading it and playing it for a few hours. But so Zach will be able to tell you a little bit more because I was just looking, I got 2 hours into it. And I will say it's definitely harder, at least for me, than Shovel Knight. I don't know if that's the same experience for you or not, but
Yeah, it's much more in line with like the classic Legend of Zelda games, like the top-down view ones, Hercules. Um, so like you're moving on that four-dimensional plane. You can jump a bit. It's like a unique mechanic with her, but very much like Link's Awakening, Minish Cap, Oracle Seasons and Ages, any of the like classic Zelda games. Um, and so the core mechanic is what they call hallowing. So if you jump and hold the jump button, you can then tunnel underground, which allows you to be invulnerable to being hit, and you can move while you're doing it. And then when you come out, it gives you kind of like a jump and a half, I guess would be a good way to put it. Like usually you can jump one square. If you do it that way, you can jump like 1.5 to 2 squares. Um, and so it is, as Tim said, definitely much harder. There was a lot of people complaining about the difficulty, but they put in tons of accessibility options so that you could edit it however you see fit. Um, you can like turn invincibility on. You can do all sorts of wacky stuff, like I'm going to make my character 4 times the size, like just all sorts of random things like that. Um,
and it's the most like customization and like accessibility that I've probably seen in a game. I think there was
yeah,
like 36 options or 24 or something.
and you
Like you said,
unlock more as you
oh
play.
wow. Oh, okay. Like you said, it's some stuff like as like simple as like invincibility, or you take half damage, or enemies take 50% more damage. Like you said, the jumps, one there's like a more like floaty jump where you can do like 3 blocks instead to help you get across bigger platforms and stuff. My issue with the game is like getting the timing right for the hallowing stuff, like when you're
Yeah,
burrowing and then trying to jump back out. Like I'm still trying to get the timing down.
and they did a really good job of there's tons of items that you find as you play that allow you to like really customize how the character operates. So you can do ones where like, oh, I can stay underwater or underground longer than usual, or oh, when I come out of the ground, it makes an explosion that hurts enemies that are nearby. Um, and I think you can at first only equip like one of these items, but then as the game goes on, upgrade and get more slots. Um, so I can get five, six of them, I think, at the end, and really customize how you want to play. Um, the
And
reason people were saying it was hard is traditionally in these styles of games, usually it's kind of like there's a solved path of the best way forward. Like, okay, so you always hit this area first, then you fight this boss, then you fight this boss, that kind of thing. What they did with this game is you start out on the introductory beach level, and then once you reach the like main hub city, you can literally go in any direction from there. So it's almost open world to a degree. And they rigged it up so that none of the directions require you to have like any specific abilities or items. There are no upgrades to your base movement and abilities besides like equipping things, trinkets to change them. And so you can kind of just be like, yeah, I'm going to go to the ice stage first, or I'm going to go to the water level first. And so people were having trouble with that because they were like, it's not clear enough. I should know exactly where to go and how to do it, which is really funny because especially in modern gaming, it's become this huge argument that they make games too easy to determine where you're supposed to go. Tim, I'm sure you've heard of like
Yeah.
the yellow paint.
The yellow paint. Yeah.
Yes. Where it's like game devs make it super easy for you to just press a button and see exactly what you need to do, or sometimes you don't even need to do that. It just tells you right out. Um, and so with everybody complaining about that, it's been hysterical to see people now complain that this does not have that and doesn't hold your hand. Um,
is there an in-game or story reason for all the customization? And are these abilities that you pick up random, or can you select like whether you can grow 5 times your size or make the world made out of glass or whatever?
So with the modifiers, those you can just turn on and off literally at will. You can just pause the game and change them. But as far as like the trinkets and stuff that like change your character and how they play, those you'll find at preset locations. There's a little bit of randomness, I think, where Tim, I don't know how many weapons you have yet, but there's like 5 different weapons. Um, and apparently they kind of what they did is there's chests in the overworld that will give you a weapon, but like if you already have that weapon, they'll give you either an upgrade for it or a new weapon, so on and so forth. But mostly everything is pretty much ironed out of like this is always here, this is always there, that kind of thing.
It's funny that you talked about the directions that you can go. So when I was playing, I was like, am I going the right way? Like, I don't, like the
Yep,
whole
yep.
time I was like, I'll just go one more screen. I'm like, okay, no, I can still go. I'm like, okay, no, I'll just go one more screen. I'm like, okay, like, I guess this is just what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, and that's like honestly, like having played through it, I think that the direction that most people go at the start, which is kind of like the one that the game like gently points you towards, is probably not the best one to start with, really, because the boss there is very rough until you start getting power-ups, and the way you get power-ups is by beating bosses. So
Hmm.
it's like every boss like upgrades your health and stuff like that. And doing the first boss with the bare minimum health is it was rough. Especially I made the choice to start with the slowest weapon in the game, the hammer, and
Mm.
that is not a good weapon for that boss. So I had to like grind up a bunch of levels and find a different weapon so that I could try something that was a bit faster. Um, and so I got the dual wielding daggers, and then I used that for most of the game until like back towards the end. Once I'd fully upgraded it, then I switched back to the hammer.
Mm. Okay. Yeah, I
That's
think I've just been using you know, the the daggers.
It's the daggers are very quick and punchy. So Hercules, there's I think 5 weapons. There's the dual wielding daggers, where you're literally just as fast as you press the attack button, you stab, but you can only stab in one direction. Um, there's a hammer, which is very slow, as you would guess. You can charge it to do more damage. And the fun thing with it, Tim, is while you're charging, you can dodge roll. It's
Mm,
the only weapon that gives you anything like
okay.
that. Um, then there is the classic, like Castlevania whip, because it's got a very Castlevania aesthetic. That one just has a decent range, and then eventually you can do the Castlevania thing where you upgrade it and you can like hold the button and it stays out and you can wiggle it around to hurt things. Like um, they have this, it's like a combination of a gun and brass knuckles, and you like switch between like you punch things to charge it up, and then once it's charged, you can like shoot out balls of electricity like a Mega Buster. Um, and then the last one is a gigantic coffin, which it's sort of like a parry shield that you can parry to deal a bunch of damage to the enemies with. And then you can do weird things with it, like you can throw it forward to make it a platform, and a lot of different play styles.
Huh. Is that one unlocked from the start? The coffin one?
So the only three you can pick from at the start are the daggers, the whip, and the hammer.
Okay,
And
yeah.
then you unlock the other ones like as you go through the game. The first town, there's a blacksmith that you can buy the other weapons from.
Ah, okay. Hmm.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was very, very well put together. Shovel Knight, I'm a really big fan of their music. Jake Kaufman, I believe, was the guy who organized all their music, and he did it for this as well. And so it was one of those things where, like, as soon as I booted up the game, I could immediately, like, I felt like I was playing Shovel Knight because his music is very distinctive, and I was like, oh,
So is it a sequel of sorts to Shovel Knight, or just the mechanic is similar?
I would go as far as to say that it doesn't even have similar mechanics because it's a totally different style of game.
Okay.
There's a couple little Easter eggs here and there, and like I would say that the closest you could say to it being like connected is the music because Shuffle Knight did so well, as Tim said, that they ended up doing other additional campaigns where you would play through as one of the bosses. One of the bosses, my favorite, is kind of like the Grim Reaper. And so when they did his campaign, they like changed all the music to sound spooky, I guess, like like more Halloween-esque. I don't really know what the best word is for it, but
Hmm.
this game, like all the music kind of has that feel. So I was immediately just like, eh!
Hmm. Yeah, like I said, it's very Castlevania feeling.
Yeah.
I remember Castlevania. That was a lot of fun too.
Mm. Trying to think. Yeah, the only other game that I've been playing was Slay the Spire 2, but I think I've already talked about that one, where the deck building roguelike game. Um, Excellent. A lot of people have been playing it that I've been talking to at the store, so it's been fun.
Have the old franchises been popping up? Like, has there been a Gauntlet game in a while? And I remember, has there been anything new with Gauntlet?
No new Gauntlet stuff that I've seen. Dark Legacy, the old one for GameCube and all that, and PlayStation, is still a really sought after game. People at the store ask all the time for it, so it's still in people's, and still in people's minds, and they still look at it fondly. So, I'd be surprised if there's not a remaster or a remake. I think they might have put um, just Gauntlet Legends for N64 on the Switch 2 online. I think it's one of the games that you can play. Um, so it's getting it into if it's on there, I'm pretty sure it is. That's getting it into the hands of newer players as well, which is nice.
Yeah, I remember the original Gauntlet, and then the Nintendo 8-bit Gauntlet that came out. It was very similar to the arcade game.
Right. Yeah. Zach's aunt and uncle, Nick and Diane, they have Gauntlet 2 down in the basement.
Yeah, yeah.
I have all of them somewhere, and you'll probably wind up with them when it comes.
Um,
And role playing, I've been running role playing games, as you know, and I'm working on September's games right now. And one of them is straight Greek mythology, and the other one is superheroes and science fiction with a heavy emphasis on the mythology of those things. And I decided I'm going to run a game on Facebook too. I've done that in the past. So instead of a PDM or play by email game, I'm having to play by Facebook game for older people.
all right, just done all through text.
Yeah, done through text with images,
Oh, okay.
kind of show you what's going on. But I run them before. People seem to enjoy them. One of them I had lasted for like a year and a half before it wound down. It took place after the voyage of the Argo. They were making their way back, and there was some new terror base, and that one went on and on and on. People seem to enjoy it. Are there any
Yeah.
new games that are happening in your store or Zach in your home?
Yeah, so nothing at the store yet. We're still trying to figure out, if we're going to be doing, in-store play events and stuff. Um, but yeah, Zach. So I've been waiting to hear what's been going on.
So I finally got back into my games after I took a hiatus in June and part of July. Um, so we just had our first session of Pokemon recently. That kind of started like their next quest hook sort of thing. Get them like prepped for moving forward after beating the first big boss. And then the L5R game is where I think the funner things have been happening. So their not company, squadron, I guess, their department of the government that like the players work for is called the Crystal Magistrate's Office. And it's named that because yokai are particularly weak to crystal. And there's been an increase in yokai sightings throughout the country. So they were kind of drafted together after fighting some to hopefully get to the bottom of some things. The first, I think this was session 27, 28, something like that. So like this is arc 7 of a planned 21 arc story. And they
Oh,
have
wow.
been bouncing around, making allies, getting recurring characters. I think the last time we talked, they were doing a mass battle where they each had like squads of soldiers and they were like maneuvering on a map with them. And so like in that one, they got to like recruit a bunch of NPCs from previous arcs to help them out and stuff. Whereas in this one kind of picked up exactly where that one ended. They were fighting with armies to hopefully stop what they found out was like the leader of the yokai. She's trying to find some item. They don't know what, they don't know why, and so they knew the rough area of the map it was in, and they were trying to fight off a bunch of yokai while they did research to find out what she was looking for. They did succeed, and they got the item before she could get it. And then with this one, it kind of picked up like, okay, she summoned a spider that is as big as a mountain range. So we have to split up. And we're going to send like the NPCs that we brought here with our army to go and try and slow that thing down before it reaches the capital. And we have found out where this enemy came from. She like came out of a magic seal, and we found out where it is. We're going to go there and see if we can figure out some way to use that to destroy her, defeat her, etc. And so we had ended the last arc with they walked into the valley where she had broken out of, and they had previously been contacted by the best corollary I could give you is think of the Sith. Like how there's always there's the master and the apprentice. So there's blood magicians in the canon universe, and there is a pair of blood magicians that they have heard about since like the first or second session, and dealt a little bit with in a previous arc. And so they had been like, hey, this giant spider lady is trying to take over the empire. We want to kill the emperor and stuff, but like we want an empire to take over. So we're going to help you guys kill her so that then later we can take over the country. Um, and they were like, I don't like the idea of working with them. But they come into this valley and see the two blood speakers with an army of undead samurai. Um, and so that's where we had like ended that session on that very tense standoff of they're like, all right, you came and you brought the NPC that I asked for, let's go save your empire. And none of them want to work with them. So we opened with a very tense negotiation, I guess is the best word for it, where the party was trying to hash out with her, because when they possess undead bodies, it's like it traps the person's soul and the person is like tortured and in agony. And so they were trying to like negotiate to a point where she would release a bunch of those people. And they got to a point where they said they got her to agree to keep just the strongest possessed one as like a personal bodyguard, with the intention and the agreement that neither side would take any hostile action against the other until this threat is dealt with. And then they all agreed to do that if she would release all the other souls she had trapped. And so they managed to get her to agree to that. And she made them like swear on the life of the emperor that they will not break their word of the non-hostility. And so then they moved forward to where the boss came from. So for those who do not know much about yokai, think of strange ghosts, beings, and demons, all kind of under one classification. This specific one is what's known as a Yorogumo, which is it roughly translates to whore spider, is what the Japanese name translates to. Think of your classic succubus. They are a shapeshifter. They seduce their prey. They like to manipulate them and get political power and status and all sorts of things like that. So she's in charge of this army. They've previously fought a bunch of spiders under her control. They found the clearing where she had broken out of. She said like the introductory boss speech kind of thing, and then summoned a whole bunch of yokai of various types. So they had the entire last session, which I think was like a 6, 7 hour long session. They were fighting off repeated waves of these yokai. And I made this puzzle setup. And Hercules, I think you'll enjoy this because I was like, I wanted the puzzle to feel narratively connected. But I wanted there to be a puzzle because two of the players are not like combat focused characters. So I wanted them to have something they could focus on during this big boss fight. So what I did is I wrote like a 5, 6 page long folk tale of the guy who originally sealed her away here. I got parchment paper, I crumpled it up, I stained it with tea, and then what I did was I picked I picked 8 paragraphs total that each related to one of the skills in the game that every character can have points into. And then what I did is I like wrote that paragraph and maybe a word or two from the paragraph before or after, and then cut them out all ragged as if they were finding pieces of like a scroll that had been shredded apart over the years. And so they had this puzzle where they had to get the pieces of the scroll and then try to figure out which skills they were connected to and then successfully make rolls with that skill to like lock them in. And every time they locked one in, if made her targetable. And when they finish it, then she'll be targetable like for the rest of the fight. But at the moment, she's only targetable if they had solved the piece of the puzzle in the previous round. So it like forces them to to focus on both the fighting and the puzzle. They dovetail. And so they had a big long session where they were fighting off waves of these yokai, dealing with some attacks from her, and they got all the pieces of the scroll. They sealed 4 of them in place, and I think they have identified what skills the last 4 are for, and we'll be able to like try and lock them in next session. So it's a big finale for like the first third of the game. But I'm really excited to have her start engaging more with the players in battle because she's a spider. I made her 8 custom attacks, and so like, but I went like all out in making them like thematic, like as if I was writing this for somebody else kind of thing. So her attacks all have names. Like, so she has one she got to use last session where she effectively grapples. She gets like into close range with somebody, wraps herself around them in like a hug and like bites into their neck with like spider fangs in her mouth, which it does a ton of damage. But then they also have to make a saving throw. And if they fail the saving throw, they are forced to target an ally on their next turn. And the name of that move is the Newlywed's Kiss. As she like, brainwashes you into doing these things. And so like she's got all these moves with like different names like that. Like her big move is the Coffin of Silk, which she didn't get to use yet. Um, but so it should be fun to see them continue dealing with that next session. I think it's the first time I've had a boss fight split into multiple sessions. Um, but it would have been way too long if we tried to do it in one.
That is awesome. And synchronistically, my campaign that I'm working on now for the kids in the fall involves Arachne and her children.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
That spider, evil spider, plot threads running through it like the webbing of a spider.
Yep.
Now, you bring this world to life for us when you describe it and share the tales that take place in it. And I'm assuming that there are modules and books that you mine for information that are based on the world and that you add from related mythologies. Is there a LARPing component to this, or do you have like assistant dungeon masters so they can spring off and go in weird directions?
So I do it just myself, and it leads to a lot of situations where I argue with myself as different characters. But I really like to bring the NPCs to life. Is what I would say is probably my hallmark as far as these kinds of games go. Um, and so like my cousin after he joined, he was like, like the level of nuance and depth that you're doing these characters with is amazingly fun. Like there's always something to discover, and like um, so I just do it. I just wing it basically. I did a lot of improv theater stuff and everything, so I've got a background that lends to it. We don't do any kind of LARPing stuff. There was a LARPing system, an official LARPing system for L5R that was around for a while. I don't think it got anywhere near as popular as the base game, but I know that like there were people who still look back on it fondly and stuff like that.
And the conventions for anime or cosplay, do people attend those?
From what I've seen, I've seen pictures of it. I don't know if they still do, but back when the living card game was like huge and that was the big thing, people used to dress up and like I think it was the last big tournament they did. They like actually had a parade through the town that the con was in, where like people were marching with their favorite clans specifically, and like each they had like the banners, they had people playing the drums, like it was this whole big thing.
That must have been really great to see.
Weren't they at the convention that you were just at?
Last year, yeah, they were at Gen Con, but it was just running like one adventure, so they didn't like have a huge presence, I guess.
Mm.
There was a large fan group that like runs games that I had a bad time with. It's the only thing I left early because it was that bad.
Uh, Convention experience.
Yeah.
So what exactly are you working on for your stuff, Hercules?
Um, in the last campaign we did, that it ended wrong. They succeeded with the overall quest of the campaign, but opened up the door to worse things happening. They were supposed to convince Medusa to go with because Typhon and Echidna had escaped. And with a wizard from another campaign, they were going to uh, basically recruit the monsters to overthrow the Olympians. So it was going to be like the Titanomachy, the Gigantomachy, and the war against Typhon and the war against all sorts of groups to try to take over Olympus. So this was a new threat to Olympus. So they managed to get Medusa cured, because Poseidon and Athena were willing to put aside their argument to not have Medusa join the bad guys.
Mhm.
That backfired because when they cured Medusa, her daughter took on the Medusa aspects. So
Huh.
daughter thought she was betrayed, because up until then she'd been cooperating with the heroes, and Medusa thought that the heroes stabbed her in the back by doing that when they were leaving. It had nothing to do with them. One of their number was a chaos wizard who had his own agenda, but they weren't aware of that. So that's kind of like the atmosphere that we're in. And now they're gonna try to find Arachne and make sure Arachne is enjoying the other children's high finding the kid. And that's how it's going to start. And of course, Medusa's daughter and Medusa are not fighting against them. And there's going to be all these machinations between different factions. So it should keep them busy for 3 months.
Nice.
Sounds like it'll get pretty intense. Is it the same group of people that are there, or is it able to be like, have a group of rotating people and people will still understand?
Well, it depends how many schools can recruit kids for it. It's done through the after-school programs. So what
Mhm.
happens? I have kids that have taken it for years, entire school experience. They've been part of the group. And I have a lot of first timers who hear about it from their friends, and they're familiar with some of the stories. So I usually have a combination of kids that have been in the game for a while and kids that are just starting out with the game. So I have very simple game mechanics. So it's really easy to learn how to play, and then I have enough collaborations to keep the kids with like the numbers satisfied as well. And there's progress and so forth. I use a lot of props, and the kids learn in my games too that you don't have to kill your enemies. You can negotiate with them, you could trick them, so you can get through an entire campaign without getting in any conflict or combat at all. Some kids like that, some kids don't. But they can always cause conflict if they don't like it and deal with conflict.
Oh, okay, that's cool then. Yeah, so it's easy to drop in and pick up new people.
Yeah, and if it's in the same area in the same town, I'll tie the games together invisibly, because they go to camps sometimes and meet other kids that are in the games in those schools. So the games all tie together. So if they share stories, they'll be able to get greater glimpses of story according to what happened somewhere else that they weren't aware of. So then when they come back from the summer vacation, and I met so and so in baseball, and now I understand, what happened here and what there was actually going on here. So it adds an extra buzz to the experience, I guess.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
that's really fun.
And now I have a superhero game that's gotten very popular over the past few years. So I tie the superhero game too. There are mythical echoes in there, tying the mythology game. So the plots aren't the same. But and also last semester I allowed a crossover with time travel. So that was pretty interesting. Kids that were taking superhero and the mythology one, they got to experience it in a variety of different ways.
Like superheroes, as in like Marvel and DC kind of superheroes, or
Yeah,
your own?
I encourage them to make up their own, but if they
Yeah.
don't want to, they could be Spider-Man or Superman or Wolverine or whatever. It doesn't matter.
Okay, yeah, that's fun. Fun building your own, do your own superhero.
And one of the things I found, because I use a system that I developed in terms of rules. It's very simple and easy to teach and to learn to use. A lot of the kids that are used to the more complicated rule sets, initially they'll want me to use rules that are very similar to what the game uses, like Dungeons and Dragons. So I will
Right.
accommodate them in any way I can to make the experience a good one for them. But it's always happened that within a month they want to go back to the simple rules that they don't.
Nice.
You roll the dice, it's adding or subtracting a modifier, and you know exactly what happened, what degree it happened, so the story keeps moving along without having to spend a lot of time with the numbers.
Yeah, that's good. That's how I like it.
Wow, there's a lot going on, and one day I hope the universe sets it so I can experience one of your games firsthand, Zach.
Yeah, that would be a good time. It's been a while since I've done Dread, but I used to run like one shots of that pretty frequently. Do one shots of 10 candles at least once a year. So the next time I do one of those, I'll let you know and see if we can work it out.
And we've talked about this in the past before. Would you guys like to modify our format? Like, for instance, if you wanted to interview a game designer, I don't have to be part of the conversation. What do you call it? You can do that. You can invite a game designer and interview them. Or if you want to focus on a campaign that you're running in greater detail, you can make that what the show is about, or what some of the shows are about, or what part of the show is about. I welcome your creativity. Your expertise is beyond any doubt. You're both incredibly awesome and know a great deal, and you're very creative and very articulate. But what would you like the show to be?
I definitely don't want you to be out of it. I think you're an integral piece, and I really enjoy our conversations.
I would like to hear after you finish your stuff in September. I would like to hear what progress you made on yours.
Okay, we can do a gaming segment where we up to date people on what's going on with the games, and by then I'll be running it on Facebook as well, so I can give a brief synopsis on what's going on there.
Yeah, that could be cool. Like every so often we do one where it's just kind of elaborating on like, okay, where are everybody's games at the moment? Like what's happened recently in the story.
Okay, we could definitely do that.
And, I know we've done it before, but I would like to get Nick and or Diane on again to see if they're working on some new stuff. I haven't talked to them in a while.
Yeah, yeah. I could definitely see if they're interested.
Okay, that'd be fantastic. And would you like to try running a game and we record it on Zoom and we uh, present that to an audience?
I would be up for something like that. We'd have to figure out a good system for it.
Yeah, a good one shot would work for that, especially for the first one.
Yeah,
I'm doing
that's
my part of Olympus. It's actually going to be not unique in some ways, but unique in other ways. It's going to be based on ancient science fiction and religious science fiction. Like, for instance, in Hebraic metaphysics and mythology, there's the Merkaba, which the rabbis used to travel to different palaces or planes or planets. And it's like a complex angelology, and there's also the Hecalot literature, which a lot of people have compared to Star Trek episodes for rabbis. So I'm incorporating a lot of that metaphysics into a campaign world, and also parodying things that are happening in other science fiction universes. So I'm putting together the module for that we're going to start with. It is a parody of a Star Trek episode called Who Mourns for Adonis, where the original Enterprise crew finds Apollo. The name of the episode is Who Mourns for Adonais, and I have the adventure called We Mourn for Adonais. So it's like what happens if mythical figures come demanding answers from Starfleet, and they're taken from there. And I have a few other modules based on science fiction. So it'll be kind of tongue in cheek. It'll be like Spaceballs or
Yeah.
something like that. But it'll be adventurous and it'll be gaming.
Yeah, that's fun. That's the kind of stuff I do want to hear about.
And they want to do it. So I'm going to do it with them. So I guess when I started with them, you can see what it's like, make suggestions how we can improve on that. But we can do something like that as a special every now and then.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, what is new and exciting on your end? What's happening in the immediate future, at Level 1 games, for instance, that we can look forward to and anticipate?
Yep. So the most recent thing that's going to be coming up, let's see, it's going to be in one, two, so it's 3 weeks or 2.5 weeks or so. Ready, get ready. It's the next it's the next Magic set. But it's The Hobbit actually. So it's another Lord of the Rings theme set. This one, the Hobbit. Um so people are very excited for this one, as you can imagine, because the last Lord of the Rings one was, very, very, very popular as well. So that'll be a fun one to take a look at when it comes out. Um but yeah, like I said, people are very excited for that one already. That comes out the first weekend in August. So we'll be doing our normal pre-release for it. We do our early midnight release on Thursday night. So we have our commander event on Thursdays. So I get to go home and go to sleep, luckily, but the other guys are there, excuse me, until midnight Thursday, doing a midnight release for the new sets that come out. So that'll be a very popular event as well on Thursday. So yeah, so it'll be very busy, next month or two coming up, like always. But it's good. Keeps us busy.
Definitely. And anything happening in one of your allies in the alliance that you put together for gaming in your area?
Yeah. So other Tim, he's from I Choose You up in Andover. He's been doing a bunch of other events. He does Magic and Pokemon as well, but he does Lorcana, the Disney card game. He does One Piece. He does a bunch of stuff. So we don't have anything lined up for a back-to-back thing for Pokemon, because um, there's like a blackout period for competitive Pokemon events during the summer while they do their Pokemon World event. But yeah, Tim has got stuff going on every weekend. But yeah, I was just up there not too long ago, saying what's up. So yeah, no, relationships are still doing well. Got a bunch of friends doing a bunch of cool stuff.
Sounds awesome. And anything going on your end of the planet, Zach?
Not too much. Like I said, just getting back into running things, trying to like reorganize our board game nights, see if we can like find a new spot, get more people, that kind of thing. But nothing too crazy.
And how can people find you and learn more about this exciting adventure that you're developing?
You can always find me on Facebook, or you can shoot me an email at mrmunnin@gmail.com.
And Tim, how can people find you and all these wonderful things that you're doing at Level 1 Games and beyond?
Right. Yep. Everything for the store is just Level One Games on Facebook and on Instagram. You can find me through there and everything. Like Zach said, we're trying to get some more like-minded board game people together. So if people are interested in that, definitely reach out for that. Trying to get a nice little group together to meet up. Zach, I try to get there every week, but I'd be tired and everything. So,
Yeah.
and a bunch of other stuff going on. But yeah, so trying to get a nice little group together, expand that. So that'll be fun. If it interests you, then definitely reach out to either one of us, or stop by the store too. Definitely helps.
And both of you, if you're recruiting players, if you'd like to make a graphic, I'd be more than honored to
Oh yeah, yeah,
help advertise it and post it every now and then and see if people are interested.
yeah. It's a great idea. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so very much. I've missed our conversations. I'm glad we're meeting again, and hopefully we'll be on a regular basis. I'm glad that both of you are expanding and growing in a lot of different ways, and I look forward to connecting again.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, thank you so much. Hopefully, I'll see you soon. Look forward to seeing what you got.
You'll probably be meeting with Athena, but I'll be in the car.
Yep, if it's not super crazy, I'll be able to run out and say hello.
Yeah, I apologize for that. I have, in addition to all the other challenges, I have spinal stenosis.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She was saying that it was tough for you to walk around a little bit, so I
Yeah.
understand. It's okay as long as you're feeling somewhat all right.
Yeah, thank you very much. Take care, and everybody, thanks for joining us. Until next time, joyous journeys and amazing adventures. Take care, everybody.
Have a good night.
Thank you very much.